This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. Hope you all are having a good time out there tonight, this weekend. Hope you're having a blessed weekend. So we got a few things to talk about. Sorry for any lack of my video. For some reason, it comes and goes. But I want to thank Chef Jew for the comments. As you come in, if you're on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. We appreciate each and every one of y'all out there. Other than that, let's talk some Miami Dolphins football. Seen an article earlier today that was, to me, a little bit ridiculous because it just doesn't work. You know, it says, let's see, 6 easiest home and away games for the Miami Dolphins. Well, to me, there is no easy games for any team, especially if you're playing teams in your own division. Because when you play your own division, you know we all play a lot harder. So anybody out there, I'll be sharing the link here in a little bit. I want to go over some things. The 6 easiest games for Miami Dolphins, home and away. They had both home and away for New England Patriots. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying we're not going to win. I'm just saying it's not going to be easy because, as always, your division rivals always play you that much harder. Arizona Cardinals in Miami. Well, you know, you can't say that yet. It's there again. If there's a team in the NFL, they're not going to be an easy team to beat, plain and simple. Tennessee Titans, Monday Night Football. They're expecting us to win that one. Well, I would love to win it, but last 2 times we played Tennessee, they beat us, and last year on a Monday Night Football, they beat us. So, you know, nothing's counted for granted. Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. I mean, that's as far as where you can possibly get from Miami without going overseas. And there's no way we can necessarily say, or somebody can say that it's going to be an easy game for us. You know, we're traveling the second most compared to any other team out there. And it's just crazy. But we're going to go over the roster in a little bit too. And the 6th team that they're saying we're going to beat easily is Indianapolis Colts. If anything, I have a real high doubt it's going to be easy because the Colts are really up and coming. Yes, Anthony Richardson's a young quarterback. But, you know, it's the same thing. One of them said it's going to be a close game between Houston and us, which it could be. I am leery about Houston, especially the way they came on last year with everything. So other than that, if y'all have anything to chime in about, go ahead and chime in. But we're going to do the best we can since I'm by myself right now. That's all I can do. If you want to join in, I'll post the link and y'all can join up here with me. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, following us, jump right in, you know. So let's see what else we got. We're going to go over the roster, the current roster as well. So give me a minute. If any of y'all are in the Miami Dolphins and you're looking to have something catered, while I'm doing this, if you're looking to have something catered, look up my dear friend Chef Jew. He's does a lot of great cooking and everything, and makes some of the best cupcakes around. So other than that, you can look him up, Chef Jew. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. I believe he's on Twitter as well. Just look him up. He gives the best. Let me see. I know I have his little ad right here. So Chef Jew, where are you, Chef Jew? Yeah, doing things by myself is a little bit more difficult because here we go, Chef Jew. You know, Instagram, it's actually Chef JMW323, not Chef L or Chef I, whatever that is. But you can call him for bookings at 786-804-8096. Other than that, y'all have a blessed day. Keep the questions coming. And let's get talking about Miami Dolphins roster right now. Let me bring it up. I'm posting the link to YouTube if y'all want to join in. Join in on YouTube. The current roster list is, I have it here. Let's see if it's the up-to-date one because I put in for 2024. So, Devon Chan, Salvin Ahmed, Teron Armstead, Jake Bailey, Shaquille Barrett, Odell Beckham Jr., Quentin Ball, Braxton Berrios, Ethan Bonner, Aaron Brewer, some good guys, Jordan Brooks, Cam Brown, Jaquan Burton, Elijah Campbell, Bradley Chubb, Jordan Colbert, Tanner Connor. We have River Craycraft, Lester Cotton, Jack Driscoll, Storm Duck, Liam Eichenberg, Easy, Eric Easy Izukama, Blake Ferguson, my cousin from down the roadways. Great guy, very nice, very humble. Jody Fortson Jr., Kendall Fuller, Neville Gallimore, Cameron Good, Deshaun Hand, Gavin Hardison, Jonathan Harris, Ryan Hayes, Julian Hill, Tyreek Hill, Chasen Hines, Javon Holland, Alec Ingold, Austin Jackson, Isaiah Johnson, Benita Jones, Matthew Jones, Robert Jones, a lot of Joneses, Cater Kohu, Kendall Lamb, David Long Jr., Isaiah Mack, Bayron Matos, Andrew Meyer, Raheem Mostert. Don't have my glasses on, so I don't see everything the greatest. Grayson Murphy, Cyrene Nill, Nick Needham, Davion Nixon Sr., Patrick Paul. That boy is a big boy, let me tell you. You see him towering over everybody else. Leonard Payne, Mark Perry, Jalen Phillips, Brandon Pilley, Jordan Poyer, Jalen Ramsey, Duke Riley, Chop Robinson, Hayden Rucci, Jason Sanders, Braylon Sanders, Anthony Schwartz, Matthew Sexton, Zach Sealer, Cam Smith, Janu Smith, Keon Smith, Durham Smythe, Tua, Tierre Tart, Skylar Thompson, Channing Tyndall, Zeke Vandenberg, Jalen Waddle, Anthony Walker Jr., Taj Washington, Mike White, Jeff Wilson, Jalen Wright, Isaiah Wynn. Now, we have enough Jalen's on the team that when the coach goes yelling Jalen, half the team's going to stand up saying, "Yeah, coach." So other than that, have any questions, please ask. We'll go to another thing, which I'll read. Got lots of news. Let me see. No, nothing I need to worry about. So, latest news for the 2024 Miami Dolphins. The schedule came out, which we all know about that. We just made a move. Miami Dolphins have signed tackle Mario Kendricks. He participated in Miami's rookie camp last weekend in a tryout basis. He spent 5 seasons, 2019 to 2023 with Virginia Tech, where he appeared in 56 games with 20 starts and recorded 67 tackles, 35 solo, 7 sacks, and 3 passes defended. A native of Kissimmee, Florida, Kendricks played high school football at Osceola High School. So it's a Florida boy coming home, you can say. He's 6 foot 294. And birth date was October 19th, 2000. God, I'm old. He's young. So let's see what else we got here. It said they signed 12 undrafted college free agents, which, we know I read them in the current roster list. Jaquan Burton, Jordan Colbert, Storm Duck. Let's see, go back. Jaquan Burton, safety. Jordan Colbert, cornerback. Gavin Hardiston, or wide receiver, Jaquan Burton. Sorry, they got it backwards. Safety, Jordan Colbert. Cornerback, Storm Duck. Quarterback, Gavin Hardiston. Cornerback, Isaiah Johnson. Offensive lineman, Matthew Jones. Tackle, Byron Matos. Offensive lineman, Andrew Meyer. Linebacker, Grayson Murphy, defensive tackle Leonard Payne, safety Mark Perry, and tight end Hayden Rookie. Miami has had some of the best luck finding a diamond in the rough with undrafted free agents, the UDFAs. So they're doing really well with that. We've got some on the team right now that's played the past couple years that were UDFAs. Eazy-E. Burton played in 34 games over 3 seasons for Florida Atlantic, where he hauled in 84 receptions, 1,277 yards, 15.2 yards per average, and 9 touchdowns. Prior to FAU, Burton spent the 2020 season at Iowa Central Community College after spending 2 seasons, 2018-19 at Southern Illinois, where he was a member of the Missouri Valley All-Newcomer team as a freshman. Burton is from West Orlando, Florida, and played high school football at Jones High School. Another Florida boy. Colbert spent his final 2 seasons, 2022 and 23, at Rhode Island, where he appeared in 21 games with 11 starts, recorded 96 tackles, 66 of them solo, a half sack, 2 interceptions, 6 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery for a TD. Colbert began his collegiate career at Columbia 2018 and 21 and earned 3rd-team All-Ivy League honors in 2021. Storm Duck, I love the name. Played his final collegiate season at Louisville, where he appeared in 12 games with 4 starts and recorded 32 tackles, 23 of them solo. 1 sack, 7 passes defended. Duck transferred from North Carolina, where he played 4 seasons, 2019 and 22, He earned second all-team ACC honors in 22 after posting 46 tackles, 36 of them solo, 5 interceptions and 12 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. Okay. This is Hardison, quarterback, who they've been talking about down there. So he could be potential, if nothing else, at very least could be potential for a backup quarterback one day. All these guys in UDFAs all have a lot to learn. So you just take it with a grain of salt and you go from there. Hardison spent 5 seasons at UTEP, 2019 to 23, where he completed 570 of 1,061 passes for 53.7% for 7,963 yards and 40 touchdowns. His yardage are third most in UTEP history, while the 40 touchdowns ranked fourth most in school history. Hardison was named honorable mention All-Conference USA in 2021. Prior to UTEP, Hardison played 5 games at New Mexico Military Institute 2018, where he threw for 408 yards and 4 touchdowns and added a score on the ground. So, I mean, they say he's got a strong arm, but he's got a lot to learn at the same time. Johnson played his final 2 seasons, 22 and 23, at Syracuse, where he appeared in 25 games with 19 starts, a total of 115 tackles, 74 solo. It's pretty good as far as I'm concerned with 25 games. 2 interceptions, 9 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. He began his career at Dartmouth, 2018 and 21, where he earned first-team All-Ivy League honors in 2021. After registering 55 tackles, 38 solo, 1 interception returned for a TD, pick 6, and 7 passes defended. Where is everybody today? I'm sure you all are out there somewhere. Come on in and join us, guys. I know it's probably just a little boring hearing me talk, but these are our UDFEs. These are the diamonds in the rough. You know, let's see what else we got here. See if there's anything else to talk about. What's your opinion on Odell Beckham? Well, I love his contract. His contract is basically incentive-based 100%. I mean, he's got a salary. I think it's $2.2 million in salary. And according to stats from last year, if he doesn't do any better in stats than he did last year, he won't get any of his incentive base. So that gives him a lot to work for. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love incentive-based contracts. They make the players really work that much harder to get their incentives so they can get that extra money. Everybody loves extra money. So let's see. Right now, just looking. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. Go over our schedule again for those of you who didn't catch us that Wednesday night. Preseason, we got Atlanta Falcons at home, Washington Commanders at home, then Tampa Bay in Tampa, which I'll be at all 3 of those games. And it'll be interesting, but we all know that preseason games these days are just to see who's going to make the team. They're not like they used to be. Week 1, Jacksonville in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. Now, preseason, Jacksonville took us last year pretty well, but I think it's going to be a battle. 2 Florida teams opening week, 1 p.m. I think even though Jacksonville is part of a Florida team, they're on the very northernmost part of Florida, and I see them struggling to be able to withstand the heat that Miami has in September, especially a 1 o'clock game. it'll be miserable on their side of the field, as it usually is for any player or team playing in Miami in September, even October. I mean, I've seen it hit 100 degrees easily on the field. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, my brother? Thank you for joining us. The link is out there. If you want to join up on the panel, just hit the link. It'll bring you on in. Let's see what else I got here. Buffalo. 4 days later, we go to Buffalo in Miami. Now, it's going to be a challenging game. It's going to be a good game. We need to beat Buffalo. No matter what, we need to beat Buffalo. Given Buffalo lost a lot of their key players on both sides of the ball because they had to make room for salary cap and stuff, I believe there's a good chance of us beating them at home. It's hard to keep the Buffalo fans out of Miami. They do their best to pack in there. Of course, everybody's selling their tickets for Buffalo games, high dollar, and I guess Buffalo Bills, even though they don't have a ring or anything, they can afford to buy high-priced tickets, even though they can't afford to get a ring. You know, they got a mafia that don't even have a ring to kiss. If y'all haven't seen the roast of Tom Brady, that was in there. Yep, I'm using it. Sounds good to me. So after the Buffalo Bills, we actually have a 10-day break, and we got to go all the way out to Seattle. Being early in the season, barring any injuries, because I've seen injuries happen in training camp. I've seen injuries happen in preseason. 10 days later, September 22nd, we fly out to Seattle. It's a very winnable game for us, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. I would love to go to that game, but it's just that's too soon for me to do a lot of things. I'm only going to be able to make it to one away game this year. I've never officially been to a regular season away game. So I'm going to try and make one. I'm looking to make New England Patriots in week 5. But before that, we do see Tennessee Titans at the Hard Rock on Monday night. And last year, Monday night against Tennessee, they came back and beat us. Now, if y'all know Pedro, the fantastic painter, he will be at this Monday night game this year. He wants to be there. His wife is a Tennessee Titans fan. Family divided. I know a lot of us know how that is. I can't wait to see Pedro come in on week 4 for the Monday night game. Week 5, we go up to New England. 1:00 game, October 6th. Should be nice weather up there. Very winnable game for us. Yes, New England's on a total rebuild. It is home field advantage for them. And as it is winnable, you never can discount a division rival. Never. Then week 6, we have an early bye week. We have our bye week at week 6. Week 7, Indianapolis Colts at Indianapolis. It's going to be a tough game. It's a 1:00 game, October 20th. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be just maybe a 3-point game, I think, at that one. Just like everything, Mr. John O'Hanlon says when we get together on this, that it's always it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see. Arizona Cardinals, week 8. At Hard Rock, though. looking at most of our home games so far, I think it's by week 8, we'll have played 7 games, and I don't see us losing any of it's possible for us to be 7-0, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. You never know. But I don't see us losing a home game up through week 8. Week 9 is away at Buffalo. That's November 3rd. You never know what the weather's going to be like there in Buffalo in November. It could be 40 degrees, wet and rainy. It could be 50, 60 degrees and sunny. Or they could get a cold snap, one of those rare cold snaps in the beginning of November and, be down in the 20s or 30s. You never know with Buffalo. It's going to be a tough game. It's always a tough game at Buffalo. Week 10, after traveling Buffalo, we travel to LA for SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles Rams. North Cal Dolphins fan club and SoCal Dolphins fan club, I know we'll all be there. They'll be supporting our Dolphins as they always do. It's going to be the mentor and the mentee, Coach Mike McDaniels, against the Rams coach, brain fart, old man brain fart. So don't mind me. I can't think of the coach's name. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hello to everyone out there on Facebook and on Twitter. We appreciate y'all. Go ahead and send some questions in if you have any. Positive Porpoise has joined us watching. Charles Kirby, Rafael Santiago. Appreciate y'all watching us. Y'all have a blessed day and a blessed rest of the weekend. After SoFi, we're back home against the Raiders. That's going to be a welcome home for the big man, number 94. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's going to give us hell. He got the money. So we lost him, but we couldn't afford to pay him at that price either. Week 12 at Hard Rock, we play New England. There's another win game right there. The Las Vegas Raiders won. That could be a tough one. So, Raiders is going to be a tough one. Anything can happen. Even though we're looking at possibly picking up some people, there's once June 1st comes down here. Okay, what's going on here? Once June 1st comes down here, we'll get some more money from the X-Men, us releasing him. Okay, of course I'm having problems with my messenger. Let's see. Let's go back to... Yes, if y'all didn't figure out who I'm talking about with the Raiders, it's our Power Ranger. New England Patriots, Week 12. I think we should win that hands down at home. Then we go to Lambeau. That's iconic Lambeau Field. I would love to go see Dolphins play Green Bay at Lambeau Field. But that's a day right before I get ready to head out on a cruise. So I can't do that. Week 14, the Jets at Hard Rock. We'll have to see if Rodgers is still playing, or did he get injured again? That's going to be a tough game. Houston, Texas, in Texas. Depending on if I win some money on the cruise or not, in the casino, we're definitely going to see about if we win. Then if I win, then we're definitely going out to Texas to see the Houstons play. Other than that, we're going to take a quick break for a commercial. And here we go.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Okay, yeah. If y'all still haven't figured out who our Power Ranger is, that's Christian Wilkins. Let's see. After the Houston Texans, we're back home with the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be a game. That's going to be a hell of a game, I think. That's the San Francisco's the mentor-mentee. I screwed that up earlier thinking the Rams. Shanahan. So after 49ers, that's December 22nd, the 49ers. My best friend will be coming in for that game. Hopefully he's a 49ers fan. I'll forgive him for that. He's still a good man. Week 17, Cleveland Browns. That's December 29th. That'll be a good game. It's at Cleveland. Then our last game of the year is against the Jets at MetLife Stadium. And it's 4 weeks after we played them. Pretty much the same thing we did last year. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's a tough battle whenever you're playing your division rivals, though. So there again, we just have to wait and see what other kind of news we have in this going on today. Where is it? There's nothing new, huh? Okay, let's see what we got. Chop Robinson. I think he's going to be great. I think he's really got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, as well as see if I can. A couple other players that didn't get picked in the pick as far up as they wanted to or thought they should be going to. So let's see. Let's look at a little video here. OTAs. We're gonna. Let's watch this little video. You all have any questions? Just throw them out there. Don't want that.
Dolphins fans, what's going on today? It is Ben Morgan of the Fins Up Network. And yeah, while OTAs, grand scheme of thing, it's pretty tame, man, at least we've got something on the horizon that actually resembles NFL football coming up here. So that's what we are talking about today. Previewing the upcoming OTAs minicamp for the Miami Dolphins, specifically highlighting, I've got the top 3 things, no particular order, just 3 things that I'm going to be watching for as the Miami Dolphins get set to embark on. Look at the dates right there. They're going on the scroll. It's 6 OTA sessions followed by a little bit of a break, and then you got 3 mandatory minicamp sessions in June. So the first OTA sessions are just that. They are very organized teams activities. They are voluntary. The mandatory minicamp does begin shortly after in June. So I'm going to be hitting on mine, but before we jump into what I'm going to be keeping my eye on, gotta hear from you. What are you going to be keeping your eye on as the Dolphins get set to hit the practice field? Yes, we just had the rookies not too long ago get their turn on the field, but now we've got the entire squad getting set for OTAs and minicamp. So let me know in the comments what you're going to be keeping an eye out for. Get subscribed if you haven't done so already. Like you can see there on the scroll, you can get subscribed. You can catch all of our OTA reports because, yes, we will be back after each and every single one of those sessions, letting you know how the day of practice went. So let's jump into things right away. And the first thing that I've got on my list, I don't think I'm going to get too many complaints on this one. It's year 2 growth out of cornerback Cam Smith. Not that you need a synopsis of this guy's rookie season, but I want to paint a little bit of a picture just to show you really how disappointing that first season was, because we drafted him in second round, 2023 NFL draft. And it's kind of a decent situation because you already got Jalen Ramsey, who can play on the boundary and everywhere. You got Xavier Howard, who thrives on playing on the boundary. You got Kader Kohou, who can play in the slot. You got all these positions already sort of filled here. So you're like, you know what? It's a nice pick for the future. Learn behind Howard, learn behind Ramsey, be a succession plan, be ready for year 2 in the event Xavier Howard leaves that door. Guess what? He did, and we're here. But what do we see in year 1? We're still looking for it. We've talked about this multiple times. I've given this stat out. In the 2023 NFL draft, of all the defenders selected in the second round, Cam Smith played the least amount of snaps of all of those defenders. And I painted that picture with Ramsey and Howard because guess what happened? 2 days in the training camp last year, Jalen Ramsey goes down with the knee. It's like, well, Chris Greer, hell of a pick. Thanks for selecting Cam Smith. The future might be we might be thrusting him in a little bit too early, but at least we got our guy. He wasn't the guy. We called upon Eli Apple. Fast forward into the season, Xavier Howard gets hurt. We're still looking for Cam Smith. Don't know what this guy did to Vic Fangio, but it must not have been very nice because, like I said, Ethan Bonner was getting reps. Eli Apple was getting reps. We're getting all these guys in there, and really no mention of Cam Smith. And I know Cam Smith battled a little bit of an injury, but at the end of the day, you thought with everything that happened in our secondary that this guy could have got a little bit of a run, and guess what? It didn't happen. So that leaves the question, I should say, as where are we going from here with Cam Smith? Because we look at this offseason, yeah, we lost Xavier Howard. Well, we brought in Kendall Fuller. And you would think that you're not just going to hand the keys over to Cam Smith after what he showed last year, but it's almost what he didn't show last year. It's likely going to be Kendall Fuller filling that Xavier Howard role. You're going to give probably the veteran the situation, the leg up in this situation is what I'm trying to say. So where does Cam Smith fall in? Because you still got Ramsey, you got Fuller, you still got Kohou in the slot. Well, is Cam Smith going to be the guy that, well, maybe if one of those guys gets hurt, maybe he steps in this year? Do you have a package for him where, you know what, Jalen Ramsey is at his best when he can kind of roam a little bit, when he can just be an athlete out there? Maybe you got a situation where Cam Smith can play a little bit on the boundary and free up Jalen Ramsey to play in the slot, to play some safety, just to be that roamer. Well, guess what? You can't do that unless Cam Smith is ready. Unless someone is ready, I guess I should see. But we would love to see it from Cam Smith. Like I said, we invested this draft capital in him for a reason. I'm truly a Cam Smith believer. He was a second-round pick for the reason, for a specific reason. He was doing awesome in training camp last year. I know he got toasted, I think. What was it, a game against the Jaguars in preseason where they opened the second half? He gave up a bomb touchdown. Outside of that, he had a pretty decent preseason. He had a really strong training camp offseason, and then some injuries happened, some confidence being shook, whatever it ended up being, lack of relationship with Vic Fangio, whatever that is, we need to see if he can overcome those issues from last year and really step up and become a contributor at some level here in year 2. Let's go on to the second thing that I've got today, and that's whether or not we're going to see a bump in targets from tight ends, because right after we signed Odell Beckham Jr., we put out a video and it said, you know what? Jonnu Smith was that guy that was kind of third in line for targets in this offseason behind Hill, behind Waddle. Then it was likely Jonnu Smith. Well, you enter Odell Beckham Jr., and I tell you what, I'm low-key really jacked about the addition of Odell Beckham, not just to be – I'm kind of a sidetrack rant here, but not just to be the third pass-catching option on this team, but to really free up Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle when they're not on the field, or move them around in the formation as well, and be able to have that guy like Odell Beckham that can play on the outside, that can play on the inside. It really opens up this offense. But by opening up that offense and by becoming that de facto third wide receiver on this team, what happens to the targets to the tight end position? Because you can make an argument that Jonnu Smith brings something to this team, to this tight end room, that Mike McDaniel truly hasn't had with the Miami Dolphins. Now, he's had it with other teams that he's worked with, George Kittle being the obvious answer to that. But Jonnu Smith brings something that, what Mike Gesicki, athletic, rangy, great hands, acrobatic catches. What did he do after the catch? Nothing. Very little ability to create after the catch. Durham Smythe, he's kind of like a last resort type of option. His hands are fine, but he's not blowing your doors off. He's not doing anything to get you super excited after the catch either. He's known for his inline blocking. Jonnu Smith is kind of the polar opposite. Jonnu Smith is so good after the catch from the tight end position. It's kind of a rarity in the NFL to see a tight end screen. Jonnu Smith, Travis Kelce, Kyle Pitts, those are the kind of guys you can do this for and actually feel good about that play call. So I think tight end targets are warranted. But where does that all fit in? Because you're going to pepper Tyreek Hill. You're going to pepper Jalen Waddle. Odell Beckham is going to get his. We talk about the tight ends. Well, guess what? We still got all these running backs. We want to get the ground game going. There's going to be a huge emphasis on the ground game once again this year. That's what really helps make this offense go. But not just in the ground game. You're going to want to get Raheem Mostert, Wright, Achane, all these guys. You're going to want to get them active in the passing game as well. So I guess at the end of the day, we've got all these playmakers. Trying to find enough touches for them is maybe a good problem to have. But where does targeting the tight end kind of fall on that totem pole? Because you know what? With Mike McDaniel, the first 2 seasons with him as coach hasn't been super high. But I say that knowing Jonnu Smith brings an added skill set to the position that we truly, really haven't had since he's been the coach. So in training camp, are they getting the targets? Are they getting the production? Are they getting their numbers called? Keep an eye out for that. All right, I got one more here. We'll wrap up real quick. We're hitting the point in the offseason where we've kind of talked about this throughout the offseason, actually, is who's going to merge on the defensive line. We got to get the guys in, see who's penetrating the line of scrimmage, see who's getting those tackles from the running backs at the line of scrimmage, see in training camp who's getting the would-be sacks, because we're not touching quarterbacks, obviously. The time is now. These first OTA sessions, and I should have said this in the beginning, it's hard in OTAs with the nature of these type of practices to always tell who's really going to step up, take that next step on the offensive line, the defensive line, even running backs at some capacity there. So that's why I don't have offensive line on today's list. I won't blame anyone that does. I would really like to get some answers at that right guard spot. How is the offensive line gelling and everything with Brewer at center? Like I said, that can be my 3B if this was my third one. But regardless, I want to see who emerges from this defensive line, because listen to these names. Tier Tart, Brandon Peely, Davion Nixon, Isaiah Mack, Benito Jones, Jonathan Harris, Deshaun Hand, Neville Gallimore. I said a lot of names. and hopefully someone can rise from that cluster. But you know what? We made a lot of free agent signings. We didn't make the splash free agent signing. We didn't draft a guy like Jerzon Newton or Byron Murphy early in the NFL draft. We didn't go that route. We opted to say, you know what? We got Zach Sealer and we got all these guys. Let's see who emerges. Let's see who can rise to the top from all of these and be those guys that can maybe either solidify yourself as a starter or at least be part of a rotation. Because we've talked about that this offseason too. Maybe it's not just one or two guys that are getting the bulk of those snaps. Maybe it's the idea of, you know what? We've got some guys that are good in certain situations. Let's put them in situations where they can succeed the best. But that also does a couple of things. And number one being keeps you fresh, not only throughout the game, but throughout the season as well. So like I said, maybe it's not just one or two guys that, you know what, we're getting all the snaps. The Dolphins have shown that they'll funnel through some defensive linemen kind of on a weekly basis, but it's a new defensive coordinator right now. So don't be surprised if we see a little bit of a rotation. But at the end of the day, we need one of these defensive linemen, 2 or 3 of these defensive linemen, to not only show up and say, you know what, I'm that starting caliber guy. Maybe we're not Christian Wilkins-esque, but you can rely on me. And it's not only just for the starters. We lost all those other guys. We lost Raekwon Davis as well. We need to round out this position in general. So I'm a little bit guilty of this myself, but we almost got to use this year as kind of like a trial run. What do we have along Zach Sealer? So we know if we need to prioritize the interior defensive line in the following offseason as well. So like I said, I'm getting way ahead of myself right there. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at this team's strengths and weaknesses, I say if there's a positional group that you don't quite know yet, that's a little bit of a question mark yet, in my opinion, it's that interior defensive line that we need to see a little bit out of here. Yet this offseason, Dolphins fans, I'm going to wrap it up right there. As I mentioned, drop the things that you're going to be having your eye on in the comments below. Get subscribed if you haven't done so already. Like I said, we'll be back following each of the practice sessions, giving a recap of the day.
Hey, John.
What's up, Papa Paul? How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me, brother.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. Saturdays is tough.
Hey, no, it's no big deal. It's tough doing some of this by yourself, trying to find everything to talk about when you're live and going off the cuff. And having the old man brain farts like I do. He's got a lot of good facts there. Finding out who's going to fit along Sealer. We picked up a lot of guys, but like you said, we didn't make that splash pickup for defense.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you listen to the names he rattled off, ain't none of them jump at you.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot to look at, a lot to hope for. Like I said earlier, what John O'Halen's famous words, got to wait and see.
Yep. I mean, you got a new defensive coordinator. You don't know what Weaver's looking for. So, like that gentleman said, it might be situational. You're going to play 40% of the downs, 50% of the downs, maybe only 30%, depending on what the down and distance is and what they're good at, and see how many of them they actually keep on the 53.
Yeah. What's up, Hooked Up Joe? Thank you for joining us. We're off of here in about 10 minutes, so if you want to join in, the link is out there. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Peace, love, and fins up. Don't forget to just comment, hit the like button. Thank you, everyone on Twitter, on Instagram, on Roku, Fire Stick for watching us. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. You got anything to talk about, John? You seen anything?
The next big thing is June 1st.
Yeah.
See where we're at. There's some free agents out there that have decent names. Safety, maybe defensive line. Wait and see what happens. You got to get that $18 million in to be able to even worry about it. And I'm sure they got their eyes on a guy or two that they're going to target and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Ryan AP said he's interested in seeing what Weaver does with Tyndall.
Yeah, you got Tyndall from a couple of years ago. You got
Cam Smith, like he was talking about.
Right. You got guys that are there that are under rookie contracts that maybe with this new defense they can thrive. And I mean, listen, when we drafted Tyndall, we knew what he was. He's a speed rusher. He's go get the quarterback type of player. If you're not using him for that, then you're not using him for what he did in college.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's 100%, correct. I mean, we got these guys. We need to use them.
Yep. And with a new defensive coordinator, maybe they both fit in. Maybe they don't. They might be on the 53. They might not. I mean, the rookie contract, so cutting them, you're not losing anything.
Yeah. What's up, Hooked Up Joe? How you doing this weekend?
Joe?
Not much. Just figured I'd join in for the last few minutes and say hello. And happy weekend.
Yes.
What did you think of the Ramsey interviews? Did you see the drive time interview with Ramsey also?
No, I have not seen that yet. I'll have to bring that up
one's
on.
worth a watch.
We'll we'll bring that up on Monday evening show.
Yeah, that'd be cool. He said a lot of the stuff that he said in his other interview, but it was.
Did we lose you, Joe?
Sorry, yeah, you did for a minute. I went on mute. The one big takeaway from it that I took was how he was taken back on how McDaniel was really already had down how he wanted to use him. Like he had film from him on his team and film from our team and said, this is how I want you to fit in and to go into a place that's not like, yeah, we want you because you're talented. I mean, he came here and he's like, here's the nuts and the bolts and the football talk and just his whole demeanor about how he talks about the coach and the way he talks about football was like, you could feel that he really respected how McDaniel has the grasp of the football concepts and it was a big draw. So it's just good to hear more good stuff about our head coach from somebody, he's been around the block a few times and you can tell when somebody's saying something and you can tell when they mean it and he means it. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I like Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, and from what I know and see with Coach McDaniels, he's very visual. He can see where somebody's going to fit in, and if he wants them, he does what he can to get them. If he sees where they're going to fit in with our team, what he's done on the previous teams and how they can fit in on our team, he'll be honest with you about it. He's not going to shoot you the shit like others might and stuff.
And Beckham and Ramsey are both healthy this offseason for the first time in a while. Both of them. We're talking about how this is the first offseason that we had where we're not doing rehab. We're completely healthy going into the offseason, and we can focus on our craft and be ready for next season full force. And to have both those that played together and for their Super Bowl ring to come back both like just with that energy of being like blessed with a healthy off season and really going at it to hit next year hard. I think that's just fantastic too.
Good points you got there, Joe. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and having Odell. I mean, I was talking to somebody today when I was out, and he's not a Dolphins fan, but he's like, "How is anybody going to cover these three receivers?" I'm like, "That's up to the defensive coordinators. They're going to have nightmares worrying about that because you can't double Hill and leave Waddle and Odell one-on-one.
Yeah,
you can't single cover all three of them because one of them's getting open somewhere, and then you got Jonnu Smith coming into the fold, whether he's chip blocking or just coming out onto a route. I mean, and you got four strong receivers right there.
And then if you have Raheem or Chan or Washington, in the backfield,
right? That's 7, and the speed in the backfield to come around this and. I mean, imagine one of them running backs with that speeds now got cornerbacks trying to get them,
Yeah.
What's up, John Featherland? I didn't see you there. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, just the speed out of you got 7, 8, 9 guys on the team that are, just pure speed.
Yeah, they're 22, 23 mile an hour, runners, all of them. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You got Hill on one side, Waddle on the other. if they just run down the field 10, 12 yards, making the safeties and everything move to their side, but then you throw a little slant pass to a running back coming out of the backfield in a couple seconds, or hitting Jonnu over the middle, and where are they going?
Yeah. Well, and that bringing up, like with Odell Beckham, what I really like, I want to bring this up, is I love his contract, because point blank, if he doesn't do any better than he did last year, he's not getting any of them incentives. So he's got a lot to fight for.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's not going to want to just do as little as he did last year. He's going to want to top that and then some.
Yeah, well, you figure he's got what, like $5.2 million in incentives.
Yeah.
And if he hits those incentives, that's good. That means the offense is doing well. Or if you think about it, if he hits the incentives, it means that somebody went down and he had to fill in.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. If he hits an incentives, it's almost like our insurance policy, more like, like if he's really the wide receiver 3, how much of that incentive?
I just want to see, if he hits the incentives, that we're doing well. I don't want to think about the latter.
Well, unfortunately, you have to, especially after the last 2 years we've had.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. It's just I don't have to think about it really. I could just I could be on the positive side and think positively that we're going to be okay this year.
Well,
I'm hoping that a lot of it's play time. I'm hoping a lot of that's play time, not like if you're actually in the game for this much of the play time, then you're going to get these types of incentives, and maybe if the team goes this far, you're going to get some extra incentives to kind of make it so it's not all like, well, you gave me incentives, but you never gave me the ball. If he's on the field playing, even if he's a decoy again, then he should get some of that incentive money anyway.
Yeah, well, his incentives, if you look it up, I think it's broken down into like 5 or 6 different categories. So it's there's things in there. If he's playing percentage of plays, he gets something. If he catches so many, he gets something. If he gets so many yards, TDs, things like that, he's getting something. So
I just read it earlier. It's like if he gets 56 catches, he gets like 400,000. If he gets 66 catches, it's another 400,000. And then so many touchdowns and so much yardage, stuff like that. Yeah. And it's all good. But we need to go ahead and give last words. Got any last words, Joe?
My last words are always fins up.
Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
Thanks for having me. Have a good week.
Yep. You have a great rest of your weekend. John?
Last words are always the same, brother. You know me. Let's wait and see what we do come January 1st. See who makes the 53-man roster. And you got a couple three preseason games to see some of the younger guys or free agents that you actually brought in and see what they can and can't do for the team. And then they'll make all their cuts. And we'll see who's starting week 1 against Jacksonville down in Miami.
Yep, I agree with you on that. I can't wait for training camp. Do we know when training camp starts yet?
I want to say I saw something end of July 27th or 28th or something like that.
It's usually the end of July when it starts. I just wasn't sure exactly. I'll have to ask my rep, see if he knows.
Yeah, well, they'll put that schedule out soon after OTAs and stuff are done.
Yeah. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and peace, love, and fins up, everybody.
Peace, love, and fins up.
Talk to you all soon. Have a great night.